Robbie Daymond reveals some of Dorian's darkest secrets in his holiday-themed fireside chat.
So dark? You sure you're not from the DC universe?
Robbie Daymond is the latest Campaign 3 cast member to sit down for a fireside chat on Beacon. But before we talk about some of the big bombshells he dropped about Dorian, why not take a minute to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep this channel growing? And then, let's dive into some Dorian lore. Robbie Daymond's first big reveal during the chat was that Dorian's background in the Silken Squall was built around the idea of Dorian somehow being both cloistered and still worldly, and so the Silken Squall's traveling court became the way to make him the sheltered but still traveled runaway prince that he'd envisioned Dorian being. It was also revealed that both Cyrus and Dorian's father showing up during the story were a big surprise to Robbie that Matt basically sprung on him, which is interesting considering how the death of Cyrus wound up shaping the character of Dorian during his return at the end of Campaign 3. He also said Dorian's travels are kind of like how the young Amish leave their community to experience the rest of the world for a while, but with more slutty man shirts. Robbie was also asked about possibly returning for Campaign 4, and what it was like originally joining the cast for Exandria Unlimited. He admitted that he was scared to join both EX2 and Campaign 3, as he had never really played any D&D before and never even had a home game, but the cast made him feel incredibly welcome at the table. Robbie also interestingly called himself a cast member, but admitted he really didn't have plans to join or not join Campaign 4 yet, and kind of dodged the question by talking about the other cast role as founders and how he'd never want to step on those toes, and just saying he would basically follow Matt's lead when it came to future project involvement or not. When asked about Cyrus and how his death during the Crownkeepers' return impacted Robbie as a player, he said he felt like he made a ton of mistakes in the combat that saw Cyrus die, kind of taking some of the blame on himself, and admits that Dorian is still shell-shocked about the death of his brother and still hasn't really fully had time to process it all. He also called Dorian an undeveloped person in all of his relationships, which will have some interesting implications in later questions about the Dorym ship. He also admits that if Dorian had the wish spell right now, in the campaign with everything on the line and Predathos still to fight, he would just make the selfish choice and use wish to bring Cyrus back. And speaking of selfish secrets, he also admits that Dorian has never told Fearne and Orym about what really happened to the Crownkeepers. They don't know the full truth about Opal, and they certainly don't know about him kind of abandoning Dariax. He's been intentionally hiding that from them and really only feeding them like 20% of what really happened, because once again, he's just not a fully complete human being. He doesn't fully understand how to process those emotions, and he just kind of wants to keep that part of it hidden and doesn't have any real plans to tell them. And so Fearne and Orym are basically sort of going to be left in the dark about the fate of their friends. And in another potentially shocking answer for all those shippers out there, Robbie also revealed that maybe Dorian doesn't necessarily love Orym yet.
Have I told Orym that I loved him?
I don't think so. I think Orym has said it to you, but or at least in like a I love this guy kind of way. But I don't think that you've said it to Orym.
While he is falling for Orym, it's clear that Orym has much deeper feelings for Dorian than Dorian has for Orym at the moment. And as Robbie pointed out, who knows what their future together could be. It's also confirmed that Dorian is bi, claiming he has kissed both boys and girls before Chetney, and even revealed that he had some secret kissy time with an ambassador's daughter, so luckily Chetney was not Dorian's first kiss.
You gotta earn these lips.
And finally, the big question was if Dorian would side with the group or with Orym, given that Orym seems to be one of the only pro-God members left of that group of Bell's Hells. And if his feelings towards Orym would make him side with Orym, or if his own dislike of the god and what happened to Cyrus and Opal would push him the other way. So asked if the group and Orym split on what to do about Predathos, would he follow Orym or follow the rest of the group? Robbie admitted that Dorian doesn't know, and probably won't know right up until that moment happens. So that's all we have for this episode. What's the most surprising bit of Dorian lore you found in this fireside chat? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.